To me, minimalism has never been about doing with less. In fact, I find I have more in my life. I have more joy. I have more things that I value. And a side effect of all of this is I have more money to save. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you my favorite 5 minimalist habits that'll help you save more money as well. Okay, let's go for a walk and talk about these. Okay, step number 1, and any minimalist is going to tell you this, is being intentional about what brings you joy versus what's frankly just junk. I call it the J's, joy versus junk. And I think that's the first step, right? Minimalism is about intentionality. It's about focusing on the things that you value. So that's step number 1. Step number 2, the habit that I think can save us, a lot of us, money, is being intentional about when you go out to eat and maybe when you cook at home, maybe when you do meal prep at home. You know, I think most of us know that, eating at home, you're probably likely to be healthier. Sometimes actually eating out is not convenient, right? You have to wait 20 or 30 minutes to get your table if it's busy. You have to wait another 15 or 20 minutes to get your meal, maybe another 10 minutes to get your check. And by the time all of that's done, you can probably cook a meal at home that's healthier for you. And there's something about preparing a meal and sharing it with those that you love that kind of builds this sense of community. So yes, I love going out to eat, but I also love cooking at home. And I love thinking about, what's something healthy that's also tasty. And I have to tell you, as a vegan, that's hard to do. I can cook things for myself that are tasty, but unfortunately my family often votes them down. But still, the point of eating at home brings a lot of joy in my life. It brings me joy thinking about what I'm going to cook. It brings me joy kind of putting love into what I cook, even if my adult children don't always appreciate it, and building a sense of community. Okay, number 3, and I've always enjoyed doing this. I take pride. I actually enjoy researching the things that I'm going to buy. And I think when you go through the research, first off, it's just fun when you get something that's well made and it works well for the purpose that you want it to work for you. So that's one thing, is just having that high quality product that serves its purpose. And the other thing is, oftentimes by the time I finish with the research, I'll ask myself, is this really what I want? Is this going to give me what I think I want? Or am I better off maybe not buying it or buying something else instead? So researching your purchases, it slows you down. It helps make you intentional. And frankly, it's just, for me, it's just fun. Some people like reading novels. I like reading as well. But I also like researching what I'm going to buy. And I find I have less regrets. If I walk through and do the research and read the reviews, 9 times out of 10, it's like, you know what? Actually, this is not what I was hoping it was going to be. So fewer regrets and higher joy, higher satisfaction with the things that I do get. Okay, number 3 is buying used instead of buying new. And that can go from clothing to, household goods. For instance, during COVID, at the start of COVID, for a variety of reasons, my family was split into 2 locations. We settled on San Diego is where we were going to do kind of the lockdown period. And we had the bare basics there. So we ended up buying used stuff. Like we bought a used couch. And generally, used goods sell for about half of what it does new. So you can save money, and things are often, I only buy things that are very gently used. And frankly, I also like going to consignment stores or places that sell used goods, used clothing. My adult kids, younger people are into that. So that's another tip that I think can be very helpful. You tend to buy less. I tend to donate the things to the very place that I'm buying stuff. In my town, the consignment store is run by a not-for-profit. and that helps fund the food bank in my town. So it's just a win-win. When I buy something new, I get rid of something. So, let's say I have 12 shirts. When I buy a new shirt or 2 or 3 new shirts at a consignment store, I tend to take in 2 or 3 shirts at the same time. So that can be a nice win-win. Okay, continuing on our list here. And this is a bonus here. And this one's going to surprise some people, I think, but just really the benefits of public transportation. I use public transportation oftentimes at home. In the town that I live, believe it or not, we have free buses. Our buses, and I wish most of America was this way, right? I think our country would be stronger if we had better public transit. And I realize that takes taxpayer money, so I know that this is probably controversial, but I think we want to do everything that we can to encourage people to use public transit. It kind of slows down the pace, right? It takes you a little bit longer to go places, so you're not zigzagging around trying to get to as many places as you can. So public transit in our own backyard, I think, can be helpful. When I come back from a trip, I live 45 minutes away from the airport, but I can take public transit to get about 2/3 of the way there very conveniently. There's a tram that picks up right at the airport. It's probably quicker than waiting for an Uber or a Lyft. I can take that as close to my home as possible. And then from there, I can call an Uber. And it's going to be about half the price. So there's this hybrid model, and then there's the full-in model. So I think both of those can work. And then, another piece of that is using public transit on vacation. About half the time when I go on vacation, I'll use public transit when I'm in town. I'll figure out the public transit. For instance, San Diego, I like to go to San Diego. San Diego has really, really good public transit, and almost nobody that lives there knows about the public transit. For instance, I'm conversational in Spanish, so just about every time I go on vacation to San Diego, there's a trip across the border for me. Well, people think of San Diego as being on the border, but the truth is it's about 20 miles north of the border. Well, for $2.50, you can take a tram from almost anywhere you are right to the border. There is no quicker way to get to the border than to take public transportation. And very, very few locals know that. So taking public transit can be super powerful, super helpful. 2 other things that can be super helpful is watching this video up here that talks about average income in retirement, and this video down here that talks about 5 reasons to retire as soon as you can. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.